What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, having a great day wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing. It's Wednesday, it's work day, but not before we get a nice video out for you guys this morning. And I've been up since 7 AM, going back into my data archives, having a look at some of the old Hodor blogs and pulling out some of the gems from there that really gave my imagination a bit of a kick and rebirthed some creativity in my understandings of XRP during the dark winter months. And we've had some bear markets in the XRP community, I can tell you that. But these blogs that were released by what we would call as very knowledgeable people in the space, insiders, developers, whoever they were, they really understood this technology from an early stage. Their content provided great insight for us because a lot of the information to do with Ripple and XRP was paywalled and guarded very closely. And I don't think that was often deliberate. I just think it was, these huge companies are building at such a ferocious pace that the details are left to the devil, and you never often see it. They're buried in the weeds with and understood by the few that are creating them. But the ramifications of some of the genius that's built into the XRP ledger is so fascinating, and it should be talked about more. And Hodo was one of those people that brought out that, the incredible technological creativity that was buried within the layers of this amazing protocol, and what its potential use cases were. Anyway, this is my Twitter page. Come and say hi. Just a quick check on the old videos. The content's getting loads of new subscribers, new visitors to the channel, and it's all because you guys are smashing the likes and giving comments. By doing that, the algorithms kind of started boosting it, and it's starting to get a little bit of momentum. So please smash the like button, drop a comment. I've replied to pretty much everyone. And turn the notifications on if you want. I don't always do it personally, but you're welcome to do it if you want. Anyhow, let's jump right in. Hodor. Who was Hodor? Well, Hodor was a blogger who wrote very creative and deep-filled articles in the XRP community from I think 2017 to 20. He was incredibly knowledgeable in the space, and he was called Hodor because he was the lead character, using the lead character from the Game of Thrones, one of the lead characters. Anyway, the idea, you've got to understand that whoever these writers are, they have a very similar theme to the Riddlers, okay? And they bury lots of fantastic information just in their banners, okay? Game of Thrones. Why would he leave a connotation to the Game of Thrones, firstly? The Game of Thrones was a TV series that was all about the control of different kingdoms and the fights of different kingdoms for the ultimate power. Okay, and the reference to the Game of Thrones was this metaphor, as they always leave these metaphors in plain sight of, this is a power grab. This is for the control of the money system on the planet, and you've got all the various houses and their symbols. Interweaved into his banner, and the Lannisters were one of the famous ones, and we could go on, but they were just various kings who owned different regions and parts of the country, or different countries. So Hodor, this is his blog, XRP community blog, and this is his Twitter handle here. It's @Hodor. Now he's not very active on Twitter anymore. He's disappeared off. But he does occasionally post some cool stuff. And he comes out of hibernation. I think he came out of hibernation quite recently and posted something. Where was it? He's put some kind of crazy posts lately. But I did think he... February the 1st, where did he post? He did post something recently. He came out of the wild. He's put a lot about the flat earth at the minute. He's quite an interesting character. Anyhow, this is his Twitter site. Come and say hi to him. I've studied his blogs for a number of years and, looked in and out of them. I would always try and have a read of them, and there are a few things that I've pulled off there that are phenomenal. Why is Hodor, so spectacularly revered? Well, I can tell you now that his blogs are probably the best I've ever seen on any topic of the XRP and the XRPL. They're the top notch. They're the deluxe kind of version blogs. He was referenced by Bearable Guy 123 in his bookshelf. See at the top here, this is the Christmas scene in the top left-hand purple book if you look at my cursor. And also I've zoomed it in here. This is, the library in the Bearable Guy scene is your reference list of all the people in the community that have provided fantastic knowledge. That's what a library is, isn't it? It's a knowledge base. It's also a library case, if you get my understandings. So much in this library. Hodo was one, there was Bank XRP, there was CKJ Crypto News, there was Working Money Channel, I think it was on that one. I don't know if my zoom function is good enough to pick these up, the resolution might be poor. We've got Lodestar 3, and we've got, there is some other books, something of Nations, The Wealth of Nations by someone or other. Anyway, the bookshelf. So Hodor was mentioned early on in the Bearable Guy scene, and that was a nod for you to understand that he produced really good blogs. We also know that there was an amazing interview by Digital Asset Investor with Mr. Greg Kidd, where DAI asks Greg Kidd, and listen to this, Oh, here we bloody go, adverts again. Hold on a minute, just get rid of these adverts. I'm so done with adverts on YouTube, it's just a joke. Right.
Greg, have you ever read or heard of the Hodor blog in the XRP community?
I have not heard of the Hodor blog. That's
okay.
Quite a name.
Well, Hodor is named after the guy from Game of Thrones, if you watch
all right. Yeah, okay.
Okay, but Hodor is a very smart guy that was in the XRP community, and he wrote a blog. And the reason I know that Ripple's paying attention to this blog is because he's the only guy in social media that Brad Garlinghouse has said, I read that blog. I want to read something to you that this guy said, and I want to see how crazy you think it is or is not. He said, and he's talking about the 1%, in other words, the top 1% of wealth in the world. He says there might be a day very soon where this 1% translates into the classical note, and he's talking about 1% XRP holders as well here.
Right.
This 1% translates into the classical notion of the 1%, the upper echelons of personal net worth. Is that cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to you, or is that in a scenario, and I'll give you in a scenario where your swift answer is not a 2 and it's an 8 or a 9. In that scenario, is that a crazy statement?
Well, we don't have to listen to what Greg said the answer, but the point is that Hodor, I need more coffee this morning. Hodor was referenced by Brad Garlinghouse, and Brad read his messages and his blogs and his tweets, and he was one of the few people that was taken very seriously in the community, and rightly so, because his blogs were phenomenal. His blogs are written on a platform called the XRP community.blog, which was kind of a more modern form of the XRP chat. It's pretty good. He subsequently stopped blogging in October 2019. That was his last post. I kind of pay attention to that date. That's quite significant for me. I always keep an eye on when they stop and start things. These guys know. They know way more than they're letting on. So we've covered his Twitter handle, and we're going to have a look at one of his blogs now. This is Limitless, the potential of XRP and the internet of value. And I'm just going to skim through some amazing things. So I'm going to read some parts of it. economic cycles happen. We've seen how they seem to exhibit a boom-bust pattern that repeats over time. These cycles will inevitably affect specific markets in ways impacting both sides of the supply and demand question. But something is different in 2019. That difference is technology involved. A wide variety of fintech companies and innovations that have now promised to change the way that the money flows or value flows across the surface of the earth, and may be successful alter the variables used in macroeconomic calculations. Embarrassingly, most crypto exchanges remind their customers that if they want to make a bank transfer, it might take days. Yes, Ripple is being adopted, but we see these reminders of the status quo previously whenever people wanted to move a large amount of money across borders. A small number of banks, central banks, immediately stepped into the picture. Those money centre banks would have legislators and the public believe that there are only the ones that can enforce AML and KYC. They claim that the governments and customers should trust them to enforce and perform this role. But what if technology could, and it can, offer a blockchain-based solution to these problems? One that involves a technology based on APIs rather than pushing paper. Make no mistake, these processes will be transformed. There is far too much of the world's economic future riding in the fintech's ability to streamline these processes in a way that supports real-time settlement, and this democratizing of personal information and finance will level the playing field in a way that, choice of words there, in a way that will force these old money center banks to either change or get out of the way. Digital assets await. The world has needed immediate settlement for many years now, and the innovations like XRP stand waiting in the wings to be used for real-time commerce. For central bankers, the use of XRP is a win-win situation. It's a bridge asset, so it doesn't aspire to remove the use of fiat currency on either leg of its journey across borders. So important that XRP simply transforms the fiat dynamically and in real time, transitioning from one currency to another. It's a bridge. It doesn't displace fiat. It wanted to keep fiat. That is what it's like, special use case. Okay? But to do this, blockchain technology stakeholders need the clarity on the status of digital assets, as well as a crystal clear, legally enforced taxonomy. That is like a classification. Okay, so we're going to leave that blog there. Now that's Limitless, the potential of the Internet of Value, which is a brilliant blog. I'm going to bring you back to another point of this video now where Greg Kagan, DAI, asks him a couple of questions. I want you to have a listen to him talking about... Oh, bollocks. Hey. Excuse my French. These adverts just are my bane of my life. Right, listen to what DAI is.
My understanding is that he recently left.
Sorry. He's talking about Greg Kidd, and he's asking... he's talking about Miguel Valles, who was one of the early members of Ripple, I think in 2017-18. And I think he was in charge of COMEX, or that side of things. I forget, please forgive me. Anyway, he asks Greg a question, and Greg's answer is what I'm alluding to here. Greg says that, when he found XRP, it was like seeing XRP with a Bitcoin rather, with two extra columns: currency and who delivered that currency. So by his two columns, he means we know who created it. We not have got these anonymous creators, but also currency. You can pair it with currency. Listen to his question and answer.
Did you? I'm assuming you know Miguel Valles, who's the ex-head of XRP Markets. My understanding is that he recently left Ripple.
Yep.
Now, the most interesting thing that he has ever said, and I love some of the words that come out of the people at Ripple, because that is what has kept me so fascinated by this company for so long. He said that Ripple had a simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. So the question I have is, do you think that Ripple will achieve this goal?
Well, my hopes are tied up with his vision, but that's why I joined Ripple. I mean, when I joined Ripple, it looked like Bitcoin with two extra columns: currency and who issued that currency. And
pay attention to that. That's what he's referring to, is the bridge asset nature of what we just talked about here. The currency is the availability of this special bridge asset to move in between of these currencies, but also it have a currency status, and who actually created this currency. There's no anonymity. I can't even pronounce that word. So there's no anonymous nature to the actual creators of the currency. So amazing, and they talk there about the potential class of a world reserve currency. Well, we don't know. That's a long way off. I want to bring you to another part of one of his other blogs, and this is one of my favourites. We're going to skim down to a part here. He talks about the. This is like the cryptographically secure, censorship-resistant part. Okay, it's so important to understand the special nature of these crypto assets. Okay, listen to this. Depending on what type of debt you have, who you owe it to, the courts can dip into your savings and confiscate your money. Before the 20th century, this process was more physical than virtual, and with the advent of digital age, it's all about electronic debt collection form in the centralized institutions where citizens have historically stored their money. If your creditors, no matter who they are, want your money, they must go through the courts to claim it. This goes for property as well. But for our purposes, think about what digital assets like XRP do to this equation. The ability for these same creditors to seize people's digital assets diminishes substantially with the use of digital assets. With digital assets, these individuals can store value using secret key that is cryptographically secure. No business, no court or tax collecting authority can break in and take the value in these wallets. It's not even technically possible. And while these same institutions can certainly restrict centralized exchanges, that's about the extent to what they can do if their citizens decide en masse that digital assets will be their preferred method of value storage. These creditors are now left to negotiate with the people they oversee. It's a massive power shift from organizations to individuals. Reflect on that. The system has just been upended. Okay? And a second point now, XRP being future-proof and immortal. This blew my flipping mind. Okay? Future-proof. Will crypto be around forever? It's difficult to know. Some popular science fiction franchises like Star Trek foresee the economies will become so advanced in the future that people will stop competing for scarce resources and instead focus on how they want to contribute to civilization in their own way. It's an aspiring, if somewhat utopian vision of how society should be. Personally, I think there will always be a way to motivate people to reward individuals monetarily. I also think that there will always be a need for people to choose their own currency if they'd like. Many of us currently choose to purchase precious metals. This need to choose will continue in the foreseeable future. To truly future-proof XRP, a decentralized digital asset, the community will need to agree on improvements to the protocol itself. Yeah, fair enough. Immortal XRP. The trend began 2 years ago. Digital assets, no matter what gyrations the market makes, are here to stay. Although only recently created, these technological constructs will exist long after we're gone. It's strange to think that the XRP each of us owns will probably outlast us. That's the inherent strength of blockchain technology. Those are obvious benefits of decentralization. If we are not immortal, we can purchase a digital asset that is faster than Superman, more resilient to censorship than Donald Trump, and more likely to live forever than Elon Musk. Okay, that's crazy. XRP is immortal. These digital assets last long beyond us. They're uncensorable. They're unconfiscatable. Now, just understand the power and the premise of that as an institutional investment grade asset. Huge, huh? Limitless scale. I just want to touch upon one thing before we close this down. Okay, this was like a blog that really blew my head. Okay. Where do we start? So, in the event some readers don't already know it, 6 transactions per second is atrocious. Visa, a centralized payment processor, can handle tens of thousands of transactions per second and truly globally scoped. Digital asset would need to be able to exceed this to adopt as means of high frequency value transfer. The answer is XRP. XRP's on-chain speed is legendary, 1500 transactions per second, but that's not what makes it scalable. It's an option called payment channels. Take note, guys, payment channels, which is baked into the protocol itself. This allows organizations to process trillions of transactions per second if necessary, while settling summary transactions on the ledger. Think about that. Ripple's transactions are not limited to 1500 TPS. They have a protocol baked into the XRPL called payment channels. How do we know? We can see. Okay? Payment channels. This is the XRPL blog. And I want you to read something. This was 2011. Think of mobile phones in 2011 and how relic they were. I'm going to leave you with this one thing. This is the understanding of what payment channels are. Payment channels are an advanced feature sending asynchronous XRP payments that can be divided into very small increments and settled later. The XRP for a payment channel is set aside temporarily. The sender creates a claim against the channel, which the recipient verifies without sending the XRP ledger transaction or waiting for a new ledger version to be approved by consensus. Okay, At any time, the recipient can redeem a claim to receive the amount of XRP authorized by that claim. Okay, it gets really boring in the weeds there, but because claims can be verified individually but settled in bulk later, payment channels make it possible to conduct transactions at a rate only limited by the participant's ability to create and verify the digital signatures of those claims. Okay, think about that for a minute. This limit is primarily based on the speed of the participant's hardware and the complexity of the signature algorithms. This was written in 2011, and I'll read that piece again. This limit, and he's talking about transaction through flow, is primarily based upon the speed of the participant's hardware. Okay, that's the mic drop moment. This was written in 2011. Look at this now. For maximum speed, use ED25519 signatures, which are faster than the XRP's ledger default signatures. Research has demonstrated the ability to create over 100,000 signatures per second and to verify 70,000 signatures per second on commodity hardware in 2011. Mic drop. Do you get that? They have had this baked into the ledger since 2000 and whenever. But basically, the early test showed that they could do 70 to 100,000 transactions per second. I'm getting tongue-tied speaking about it. Do you see the potentiality of this now? And these were all brought to me, these little snippets, through the Hodor blog. Amazing, huh? We're going to leave it there for today on this one. This is my Twitter channel, guys. Come and say hi, give us a follow, give us a like. And I hope you enjoyed that small blog today on Hodor. And, you know, he is an amazing blogger, and we will go into more of his blogs later on in the series as we go. But for now, I hope that's good. I hope you all have a good day. Don't forget, be blessed.